Eddie Clone, EC Details, and welcome back to another episode. In this one, I want to give you tips and tricks on how to cut paint faster, more accurately, and how to get more out of your time, and also how to apply DIY's brand new T3 5-year coating on this car. Now, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the car. The car is hashed anywhere from the PPF. I don't know what they did. Terry Banks PPF. They got the hairline all over the back. How to correct PPF, how to correct edges, give you some tips and tricks to get more out of your time, help you be a little more profitable, but also what I do and how I tackle paint. First of all, the most important thing when you're starting a paint correction is prep. Here's what we did to this car, and if you missed the live, I'll put the links in the description below because we actually did it live. We did a pre-wash, we did a bucket wash, and then we saw and felt that there was so much contamination in the car that we had to use real clay to clay the whole surface because the car was cooked. There's some tree sap in the front, and then we're going to do some rock chip repair. So stay tuned for a fun-filled episode in the studio, and I'm looking forward to this video. First things first, when you're cutting paint, and you remember, wash your car first, okay? Wash, decon. That's the most important, because what you're going to fall into or run into is you're going to get into the point where you're going to be like, well, my pad's not doing enough. It's not cutting. It's because there's a bunch of contamination. So typically your pad will shave off contamination first before it starts touching bare surface. Second thing, if you don't have a pad washer, I am going to actually walk you through how I clean my pads. All you need is a bucket with rinseless and a grit guard. And I'm going to show you how I get my pads clean. For those of you at home that don't have a pad washer, I learned this trick from JTC himself, this ugly dude. All right, let's get rolling. So what I do typically is measure paint. So if you don't have a way to measure paint, then the thing you have to think about is, okay, how do I make sure to protect the paint if I don't know how much paint I have to work with? Always less invasive first. So this one we'll be using Endgame, and I'll show you through Endgame. I'll show you tips and tricks with DIY's compound and how to do a compound and still get fast cut. We're gonna walk through all that in this video, so stay tuned. Let's get cracking. Cleaning pads can be a chore. So anytime you start polishing, a couple things I like to do is, and I'll show you here with a dirty pad of how I tackle it. And this is for those that do not have a pad washer. Pad washers are good, but since I already washed the car with, I always have rinseless in the bucket, etc. And I always dump it out at the end and I refill it because I like to have rinseless on the go ready for me to use. Take your pad, we every 2 or 3 panels. I grab this, I soak it in my rinseless, and I have a auto fiber scrubber here. And I like to get it super saturated because after I blow it out, and then I'll just scrub it. And I'll show you what it looks like in a second. You're gonna do that a couple more times. And it'll penetrate where it's at, and it'll start to clean your pad out. And like I said, I like to do this about every 2 or 3 panels. Wash my stuff. And then that's actually it. So there you go. Now you're like, that should come off. It doesn't. This is old, okay? Haven't washed these in a while, so that's the best I could get. And we're good to go, and we're ready to cut. And this is why claying is so important. I want to show you this. So this is the car, clayed. This is what it looks like clayed, right here. Super dirty. We use both sides. So do your due diligence. Let the clay do the work for you. So when you get into the cutting, your pad is touching paint, not little sprinklers on top. That has to shave off first. Now let's talk about paint systems. I get asked often, like, Eddie, how do I know if it's soft paint? How do I know if it's medium paint? How do I know what to use? Like, there's no spreadsheet out there, right? It comes with experience. That doesn't really help you. But what I learned is there's a way to do what I used to call like a hybrid cut, where I would use a heavy compound and a soft pad. So in this instance, I'm using the new Detail Co. Age Orange pad with Buff and Shine. And I'm using right here, I'm using this Gold Standard. Now, I already know that this is going to do work based on my experience. When you're doing this at home, what I suggest you do is grab 2 or 3 compounds that you feel like is safe and do a test spot. The art of a test spot is super important. You don't have to do a huge section. You could do a 1 by 1 section, and you could tape it off for more visibility if you need it. or just put it in different panels. I would use the same panel to see it, and then use the light to show it. That would be the easiest way. For me, I use heavy cut with a soft pad to get the best results. You can use an all-in-one polish, or you can use Endgame. This for me is going to do work at a quicker rate. Is what I'm looking for, and I'm going to show you that here. So the abrasives in this cuts super fast, but it has a tendency to finish well. And this is why I like to go this route, because for me, time is money. I want to get around the car in about 1 or 2 hours. You're like, why do you want to move so quick? Because it's only me by myself, and I have another car, right? If you are a shop and you could time your schedule to do this over a couple days, that'll be best. But if you only have a day, I'm going to show you how we're cooking. Right here, so you can see this again. You can see what we're working with, and you can see how bad that is. What I'm going to show you is the art of a test spot. So grab your compound. Always shake for about 10-15 seconds. The reason you shake compound is because the abrasive set at the bottom if it's not well blended. I'm doing 2 dollops of DIY. And for me, same door, I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to do this section, and I'm going to do my pass here. Now you're cutting paint, so you want to make sure you take your time to do it. With this compound, it cuts so fast that I could go in faster hand movements at a higher speed and get great results. You're trying to avoid overheating the panel. Heat causes swelling, which at that turn could cause some other problems for you, right? If you have water spots, you feel like you got it out. Swelling removes that. So look at that. So that tells you that I have the best pick here. Now I'm going to get you a little closer here so you can see what I'm talking about. And you can see this is what we did. And here's the scratches on the paint over here. So I already know DIY is about to do work on that. So the art of a one step is pretty important when you're doing this. I would use this whole section and then switch over and do edge work. So what I like to use a 3-inch pad for is I'll come in here in this area and do the edge work, overlap my section here, and that way just be careful with the backing plate. And I'll come around and do the edge work and do this whole section here, and then I'll grab the bigger polishers, do the bigger sections. Same pad. I'm doing, I usually use speed 5 and 6. You can use whatever speed you're comfortable with. I use faster hand movements, about 5 pounds of pressure when I'm cutting. Because again, my goal is time, but I also want to do a good job because they're paying for it, right? There's going to be a technique I'll show you in a second for more stubborn sections. And there we go. And that looks beautiful. You might say there's deeper ones here, and I could chase those, right? I'm only doing one step, but you could do a mow down technique where you grab it and you're coming back and forth to shave some of that clear coat. I'll put 5 pounds of pressure, do it 3 or 4 passes. If you do that, you have a tendency to overheat the panel. And again, heat can mask scratches. And you see the mow down technique took those out. So there is some techniques you could do to grab sections where you feel like your pad is either not cutting enough, etc. And that again is that mow down. You put the polisher on here, you start it, and you go back and forth, and you're doing like a shaving motion, about 5 pounds of pressure on the area you want to work the scratches out. And again, that's the mow down technique. I think every detailer should have that in their arsenal for sections that are a little more stubborn. So we have that cut, looks super good. Now we're gonna go in and cut the rest of the panel. And I'll play some B-roll here while we're cooking so you can see it. Let's talk about PPF. We have PPF here. It's pretty bad. So what you want to do with PPF is take your speed, turn it down 3, and don't overheat it. Overheating the PPF will cause it to separate from the panel. And you just want to go slow hand movements just to clean up the film a bit, to take any of that chalking away. And again, the goal here is not to overwork the PPF, but just clean it up a bit. Don't put a lot of pressure. You don't want the less heat for PPF, the better. So you're going to take this. There you go. You're not chasing perfection with PPF. The goal is perfect cleanup. Usually takes about 2 or 3 passes. And you can see the clarity in the paint matches the clarity on top. And now we'll just cut the rest of the PPF here. It's the whole front clip. And then that's how I would tackle that. You can see how that looks versus that corner there, that it's grayed out and all that. So yeah, take your time with PPF, and then just easy movements at speed 3 will get you the best results. And don't overwork it. As far we made it. I showed you how to cut paint, how I would cut paint to get the best results, to get a little more quicker, a little more accurate, and save you a lot of money, time, also your back. Because when you're sitting there working paint forever, it does put a toll on your body, especially if you're doing it incorrectly. But now we're at the stage of ceramic coating. While I talk, I want to show you what the paint looks like now after we paint corrected. You can see there's almost no blemishes on the paint. There are a couple of rock chips that I'm gonna have to take care of here and there, but you can see how good this thing looks. We got it cherried out. Now we're gonna apply a protector on it. So I have DIY's 5-year T3. This one works on PPF, wraps, it works on everything glass. For me, I like to do paint first before I touch any of the other surfaces, so I have enough of the paint. I like to apply a little heavier on mine because I believe in film buildup, but we're gonna go over the application of this right now. And I'm gonna walk you through my process, how I do it, and then, just to give you some feedback of how it all works, looks, etc. Um, the cool thing about their new packaging, it's cellophane, so make sure you throw that away. You are greeted with a new design, and then you're greeted with a bottle and the applicator. So what you'll need after this has enough to get you halfway. Get some gloves, get some level 1s, or get yourself some jobbers. And then you'll need 2 rags to do what I'm about to do. So grab yourself a panel prep. So I like to, especially when I have compound all over, I like to just spray it on the panel and let this do a little work. It doesn't require a lot. Then I take my Mr. Twister. I like to spray just so it has some moisture. And my first wipe is not hard. You're just picking up, right? Just smooth. You don't want to mess up the work you just did because you spent a lot of time cutting it. You could turn the towel over, or you could take another towel and then buff it. So I like to do the 2 towel method, but you can use 1 towel if you're saving on laundry bill, and you come in and you buff it off. All you're doing is buffing the rest of the solvent, and it gets it super clean. Okay. Also, if you get compounds in the doors, one of my biggest pet peeves that I see detailers do is these door jambs were already cleaned, and you can see it right there. You can see that I have a whole bunch of compound here. What you want to do is be respectful of your client's property and take that off. Okay, take it off. Come in, wipe it. These were already clean. Make sure the door jamb is clean before you do that. Now, that's good. I'll go around the whole car and do it this way, and I make sure every surface that's getting ceramic coating, I panel prep. I let it sit for, not a lot. I just want it to penetrate against the polish, and then come in and wipe. You don't want to press too hard because you don't want all the effort you just did to go out the window, causing marring, things of that nature. The coatings are only hard because we make it hard. So I'll give you a few tips. You're like, this is so elementary. But look, evergreen video. If you come to this video, you're like, wow, I kind of went through this. It doesn't seem that hard. Grab your stuff. The box is good. Throw it away. This is the applicator. The thing I like about this is I could use it, fold it upside down. I could also save it for after to do sealants or dressings for the plastic. Okay, take your coating and you want to shake. The reason we shake ceramic coatings, right? It's not because it's just a proper thing to do. It's because remember, you're blending many things together to create this kind of polymer situation that goes on a panel and evaporates. It's kind of like fragrances, right? Mixes, macerates. So you just want to mix that about 20, 30 seconds, get everything working, pop your top, and then good to go. So I like to start off with about 10 drops here just to prime my applicator. And I'm going to show you the method of how I like to coat. I like to do what's called body lines. I like to draw in the line here. So I'll come in and I like to come up around the body line, and then I like to put in circles. So especially with DIY coatings. It helps me not miss anything. It helps every situation. I have low spots, high spots. It's a perfect application, in my opinion, when I'm doing this type of coating. Again, the whole goal here is to follow the body lines. I go here, here, up to this line right here, all the way up and grab that. It makes for an awesome coating experience. And then you can cross hatch if you choose to. Circles typically get it enough for me that I don't have to worry about it. And then bam, I'll let that sit. I think flash times are like a minute. You'll see like a rainbow slickness. But again, body line, if you're looking from out here, what I'm calling a body line is anything from up there all the way down, because I know that's the section I coated. I'm gonna let that cook for a bit. If you have trouble seeing it in your light, you can turn the lights off, use a light, and you can see it perfectly. I already know that it's ready based on the flashing. If you get hazing or you get some coatings that smear, that means you left it on you start wiping too soon. So if it smears, just let it sit for a little longer. Right away, you get slickness, gloss. This is such a good coating. Look, their updated coatings are gonna rival anything on the market, in my opinion. And you're gonna say, well, you just sell them. You're just saying that because you sell them. No, I'm saying that because it's facts, right? There's facts. This coating is gonna rival anything on the market. And there you have it. I'm gonna give you a couple of tips and tricks, and then we're gonna end it here. So for the coating for the car, we use T3 from DIY. It's a phenomenal coating. Man, look at the hydrophobics, but also look at the car. The car is beautiful. The paint looks sensational. It's dark, rich. It left a lot for me. Like it left me with an impression. And I apply a lot of coatings. I love the look of this and what it makes red look like. It's pretty wild. And the ease of use is up there with some of the best coatings that I've used. Now, I didn't have enough to do all the plastic. This is a plastic heavy car, so I'm gonna give you a tip here. So I have DIY 1 year, has graphene. Make sure you shake it. And then I use a microfiber and I applied it on all the plastic parts. I want to show you a before and after. So this side was with the coating. You can see it here. This side was without. So you see the darkening, the richness of it. It's pretty insane and it's affordable. So I could use this to coat all the plastics. Now, how long does it last? I don't know. It's porous. Plastic's porous. So I usually say 6 months. But we'll see when this car comes back. But it does provide richness for the plastic. Didn't pay for a plastic coating. This is me going above and beyond. If your customer pays for one, you can use this DIY 5-year or dedicated trim restore to get your result. But this is the 2 combos that I used to get this done. You can find these links in the description below. You can go DIY.com. Rentals 10 gets you 10% off. That is an affiliate code, by the way. Or the House of Rags, save 10 gets you 10% off. But here you go. These 2 for this car, you did God's work. Now, I gave you some tips in this video on how to polish a little quicker. Go with a heavy cut compound, a soft pad, faster pass to speed 6. You get an amazing cut finish without wasting a lot of time. I got through this car in like 45 minutes, top to bottom. Top to bottom. Top to bottom. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if what you want to see next in the video and what your thoughts are. And I appreciate everyone for watching. Hit that like, hit the subscribe, and then we're going to see you next time. We're out.